Well, a new poll from NBC shows President Biden's approval rating is sinking. And for the first time, he is trailing former President Trump in a hypothetical rematch. While the president is still within the margin of error among all voters, that is not the case with young voters, where he's down 4 points to the former president. What's seemingly hurting him the most among young voters is the Israel-Hamas war. According to the poll, a whopping 70% of voters age 18 to 34 disapprove of his handling of that conflict. Joining us now to discuss is Julia Manchester, national politics reporter with our friends at The Hill. Julia, this poll definitely not the birthday present the president was hoping for today.
No, absolutely not, Kelly. And I think a lot of this has to do, obviously, with young voters. We have seen in poll after poll, including polling that was released by The Hill and Harris X and Harvard Caps earlier today, we see that as voters get older, they tend to support President Biden's handling of the war. The problem is that very important young vote, those 18 to 34-year-old demographics, do not support President Biden's handling of the war. They're calling for a ceasefire, and they tend to be more sympathetic towards the Palestinian side of this conflict. So that's hurting President Biden here. And, you know, there has been the argument that young voters maybe aren't as reliable as older voters. However, with Generation Z and younger millennials, we're seeing that that argument isn't holding true according to recent elections. We've seen young voters very much tip the scale in the 2023 off-year elections, as well as last year's midterm elections. So if they decide to stay at home and not vote, because we don't think this demographic is going to necessarily go and vote for Donald Trump, staying at home could essentially be a vote for Donald Trump and take votes away from President Biden.
Certainly. And as you know, Julia, his age is a serious issue. He's 81 years old today. Poll after poll showing age is a real issue for voters. So how do you see that translating to the ballot boxes?
Look, I think in terms of age, a lot of it has to, when a lot of voters see President Biden, they not only know that he's old, and there is this concern that, look, you're 81 years old, you're in one of the most difficult jobs on earth. It's physically and mentally taxing. There's a question of how does his health impact his daily ability to do the job? There's also the question of, do we need younger people in this role? Is it time for a new generation to come and take charge? Now, the same could be said about President Trump. He's only 4 years older than President Biden. But like I said, a lot of this has to do with the perception of age. And while voters acknowledge that President Trump is certainly on the older side in his late 70s, they don't perceive him to be old the same way that they perceive President Biden to be.
And, you know, we've seen at the same time California Governor Gavin Newsom taking high-profile meetings. Do you anticipate, Julia, another Democrat, potentially Newsom, slipping into this race and being the nominee?
It's hard to say, and I would doubt it, because we are coming up on 2 months away from the first presidential primary contest. South Carolina, for example, which is in early February, New Hampshire, which is going to be in late January. And you have the Democratic Party establishment, particularly in South Carolina, very much ginning up support for President Biden. So for someone who is so new, may not be new to politics, but new to the campaign world so late in the cycle, it's hard to see what kind of an impact they would be. I think Biden still has enough support, obviously, that he would be the nominee. But if another Democrat, in addition to Congressman Dean Phillips, were to jump in, I think there would be real questions about how enthusiastic is the base for Joe Biden that they're looking to these other options. And that has general election consequences.
Oh, certainly fascinating to watch. Julia Manchester, thank you, as always.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.